Boom, welcome to Stay Bulletproof with Tait Fletcher. Here it's, what is it right now? The 21st of February, Thursday, in Los Angeles, California, on Wilshire Boulevard, at the offices of Young and Reckless.
Oh, yeah.
I got Cesar Silva right here.
For sure, right here, chilling. What up?
And Big Luck, Steve Luciano.
Whoop whoop, right here.
And so I want to thank y'all. I hope you've been enjoying the show so far, and what we've been doing. I've been working with a bunch of people out here on the coast, and some stuff's coming up, man. Some really exciting stuff in just fitness and performance and fight world. Some new gyms we'll be able to talk about pretty soon, and it's feeling good, man. And these guys are two of my best friends, and they work together out here. And I just happened to get lucky enough to catch them on an off evening, which I don't know. There's no off evening. They're jam packed with stuff to do, but I'll leave it to the introductions to them. A little background from you, C's. What's up?
Yeah, what up? I'm just Cesar Silva. I'm just a dude right here just trying to get it in. But I've been with Young and Reckless for a couple years. Came in under Lucky, and he took me under his wing and he brought me in, and I started from the ground level. And when this thing was just starting, I was the guy putting up stickers on street poles and like running around the streets, throwing up posters and taking pictures and giving out T-shirts at concerts and parties, and hitting that shit up with spray cans, and like I was just just really wanted to be a part of something that I.
And that was before Lux put you on a job here, or after?
No, that was at the same time. So when he brought me on, it was just kind of like they brought me on as just do some street level stuff, some street teaming and
see what you're working.
Yeah, exactly. See what I can do and if there's any possibilities. And as I kept going, I just kept grinding it out, and just say, hey, put me on. Never gave up, and finally got to the point where they gave me an opportunity with some marketing stuff, and
They couldn't deny him.
That's kind of the way it's done, though, right? It's like, and everything. I always thought, oh, this dude's lucky, that dude's lucky, but it's like, make yourself invaluable, and you're gonna come on. You'll come on board.
Yeah, exactly. It was just sometimes you got to keep knocking at the door and kind of show face. And even if I had no idea what I was doing, I was just doing it. That's it. I was just putting action in, and things turned out better than I could have ever imagined.
What were you doing before?
Oh man, I was working at a pizzeria. And I was
straight out of Culver City.
I was chasing a music career, and I was making music. I've been making music all my life, and I was constantly in studios just trying to really make something crack. And I long nights, and the door never really opened. And I was knocking at that door, and then this one opened up, and it's kind of one of those things like, hey, check it out. I heard you knocking. Why don't you come over here real quick?
Right.
So I did, and it's so happy that this is a real good place for me.
That's dope.
So
yeah, dude told me one time, he goes, whatever you think. He says it's important to walk with purpose, intent, and direction.
Yeah.
He says it doesn't mean you're going to get to that spot, but all this other stuff is going to come up, and you would never encounter that stuff if you weren't going towards that thing. So be committed and be solid to the one thing. And just have your eyes open to the world around you,
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I mean, everything that I was doing when I was chasing that music career is what gave me the tools and the abilities to do what I'm doing today. Because I know how to go after something. I know how to take action. I know how to put things together and see a project and visualize it. And, all those things I constantly trial and error. All those things that I was doing are my tools now. Now that's my experience. I'm just in a different industry.
It's like you were in school.
Yeah, I was in school, and that's what gave me the edge and being able to grow with the company. And when they're like, hey, we're gonna put you in production, I'm like, let's do it.
Right.
And I was excited. And
how much school? How far did you go in school? In regular school?
I think 10th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10th grade is where I ended off with credits, and then I hung out. I was doing a lot of ditching, and then finally when I was 18, they're just like, you might as well just leave. There's no point in you staying.
Right.
I mean, in all reality, that was the happiest day. When they kicked me out that last day, I was writing some graffiti on my teacher's wall, and she walks in, and she just freaks out. She's like, Cesar! And then she just sent me to the office, and they're like, look, bro, you're not doing anything. You're just pretty much...
Let's all quit kidding each other.
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
Yeah.
You're 18 already.
Yeah.
You could just walk. And it did not take me long to just get up out the seat and go right back to my block. And be like,
Right.
sayonara. And I was gone. And
Damn. What'd your moms think?
I don't even remember, honestly. I don't even know if I told her. I probably did that.
You were just all absorbed anyway, and you'd already been out of school, basically, from what you're saying.
I wasn't even going to school most of the time. It was just, I go just to hang out, see the friends, smoke weed, and, whatever else I was doing.
Then go sit at the beach?
Yeah, or go hang out on the block and wait till the sun comes down. And that's what it was like.
Yeah.
It was always like that. And, seen a lot and did a lot, but, it's definitely a different story today.
Right on. How about you, Lux? How long you been with the company?
I've been with the company since the conception. They called me while they were trademarking the name, and kind of started prepping me because they believed they were going to get the name trademarked. And
you were working somewhere else at that time, or
I was.
You were in between gigs.
Yeah, no, I was finishing up putting together a sales force for the hundreds, because I'd been at the hundreds for quite some time. And prior to that, I had built a brand with Travis Barker called Famous Stars and Straps. So I had, the owners from Young and Reckless had they kind of had it in their head. They were kind of operating like Steinbrenner of the Yankees. They figured, this is the brand, and we're going to find all the right players. Yeah. And so they grabbed a marketing director from LRG, Kevin Delaney, and they grabbed me as a sales manager. And they kind of, simulated, put together a team that they felt would.
As far as like streetwear in LA goes, like I remember, I don't know if it was 05 or 06 when I got here, but that you're synonymous, like your name just rings through that world,
It's nice to hear that, and I always kind of feel a little bit shy or embarrassed, or I don't know, when I hear stuff like that. But I know it's true, and it wasn't like I set out to be like that guy. And I was telling Cesar that me, Esteban Oriol, and Mr. Cartoon started at this thing in 1990, and Esteban was road managing and took great pictures. Cartoon was just an amazing artist. He hadn't tattooed.
Really?
He just drew and airbrushed, and was just fantastic at it. Did illustrations, and
was he a street artist at that time, throwing up stuff?
Oh, he was.
Or
He was
mostly...
he was part of WCA. So he had a graffiti street. He was with CBS, Can't Be Stopped, or excuse me, no, West Coast Artists, that was.
See, you get all this underground, gritty, fucking
Yeah.
LA shit.
Yeah,
Nobody knows all this.
It
He
was
had that, but
originated.
This is
the same.
exclusive, yo.
But Cartoon at the same time was also at Santa Fe Springs swap meet airbrushing, and his illustrations were just like, he just took that gangster shit and twisted it.
And so you met him in 90, or back in that
89
time somewhere.
89.
And how'd you guys all get introduced?
Esteban met him, ran into him at that swap meet, and then was like, "Hey, Lux, you gotta meet Chris."
And you grew up with Esteban?
Yeah, me and Esteban grew up. We were teenagers, and he's like, "I met this dude. his art's sick. You got to see it. And they had kind of hit it off and said they were going to hook back up. And yeah, you know, like it was like a week later, and I met Cartoon, and he came over, and we all hung out, you know, went out for some drinks, and we just started, and it was like, for some reason, we just hit it off that night, and the next night, we all got together again. It was just like, bam, we just became like kind of inseparable, and we're just amazed by his work, and he was fucking around with a homemade little handgun, trying to figure out tattooing early on, and you know, constantly when we'd be out eating and stuff, and he'd just be drawing on napkins and paper, and you know,
I always knew guys like that too. They were just like they needed to. They had this, they needed to get it out, and they needed to perfect whatever illustration they're doing or whatever. It's like there's dudes like that. Like that's where the greatness is, man. You see guys like that.
Absolutely, man. And it was, you know, he was working with Eazy-E at the time, you know, doing some illustrations, and he had done Dre's album cover and this and that. And Esteban was leaving to become the tour manager of House of Pain, and I was, you know, I'd gotten.
So you go back with Danny Boy and all
those
them
guys,
back
yeah,
then, like,
yeah.
Fuck, man.
And I got through a stream of coincidences and just different, you know, I got the opportunity to meet a guy named Mark Fox who had a real successful leather store on Melrose, and he was building all the leather jackets for all the, you know, in 90, the whole rock scene, from Bryan Adams to Steven Tyler to Joe Perry to Nugent to everybody was wearing leather.
Ice.
Mickey Rourke, what?
Maybe not Vanilla Ice yet.
No, not Vanilla Ice, no. We're all wearing this leather and driving Harleys, and Mark Fox was really the guy that was doing all of it. And you know, I was working construction on his house, and then he shared some stuff with me. I pitched him a concept on a store, and my concept involved Cartoon, and it involved Cartoon's artwork, and it involved Esteban Oreo putting it on Cypress Hill House of Pain to promote it.
Sick.
Oh, and so that was like kind of like my, you know, that was what I saw, but I had a vision of what I wanted Cartoon putting in these illustrations. So, you know, we finally started building the store, and I sat down with Cartoon. I came up with the name Supermax because I had just gotten out of spending about 14 months in a Supermax facility. And so I was like, Supermax, it's a good name. I like that. And told it to Cartoon, and I'm like, and I started laying out these ideas for illustrations. And he started drawing as I was saying stuff to him, and we built a brand. And, you know, one thing led to another. It was Not Guilty, Joker, and then finally Famous Stars and Straps, and the Hundreds, which, you know, the Hundreds are my family. That's my heart and soul. You know, I love that brand, and I'm still involved with branding with them. And then I got proposed with this opportunity about, 3.5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And Drama, D, all the guys from 5-4, that whole family, just like family to me, man. Just like we all set out with a goal and a plan of what we plan to do with this company. I think me and D, one of the owners, have a place in our careers where we want to build a lifestyle brand. And
D different than Drama that I just met.
Right.
Okay.
Now Drama, Drama's a real hands-on, real talented kid. Really knows his stuff, learning every day more and more. But he's got a lot of style, and he's a pretty smart, sharp, savvy business guy. He has his hands involved in every single aspect of his company. And, you know, I'd come to a place in my career at 45 where I want to build a lifestyle company. I'm starting to see some of the bigger brands that have been around for 15, 20 years not losing their hold a little bit. Like the youth is standing up and speaking out, man, and they want their brand. And I saw Young and Reckless as being that brand, you know, and I'm telling you, man, we you know, I'm glad you're taping this, and you can keep this recording, because this brand will be one of the biggest brands to ever hit America or therefore the world. We're building a beast, man, and we're not going to be denied. And
it's like what you're saying too, you know, like what you see, because you've seen them come and go. You know what I mean? You built them up, and you've watched them wash away, and just even like not even stuff you're involved in, but like everybody trying, everybody's got an idea, and so it's really interesting. Like when you're talking about how when they built this together, like here's all these guys that they've failed enough and tried and trying again that they've got good hooks on what success looks like, and that's badass. That's not really happened, I don't think, before, and not in this business.
No, I know. I think this. You know what? I think this brand has two things. I think that it's got the youth stepping up, and it's like a voice for it.
Yep.
And the second is, this is like the underdog brand. This is like the blue collar brand. This is the guys that all came from nothing, putting something together on their own, and going up against the big dogs. Up against and we're not. It's just that things are changing these days. It's these are times of revolutions and all sorts of stuff.
Right.
And we're flipping the script. We're focused on what we want to do. The brand is a fun, reckless, edgy brand, but behind the curtains, when it comes to work ethics and inside the office, I mean, it's a very, very poised team.
Yeah, and harder than it looks. I think a lot of guys they go, I'll start a t-shirt company or I'll do this or that, and it looks
Don't
easy.
do it.
And
Don't do it,
dude. That's
Takes
the
a lot
same
more
thing.
work.
I've seen this dude Dan that used to run Hitman brand clothing, and then they sold to Tap Out and all that, and like I know all those guys and all those fight wear brands, and Ed Soares used to run Sinister and all that, and there's like 4 bangers in that world, and they had a conference where they were doing like a trade show down in San Diego, and one of my sponsors brought us down there, and I was sitting and listening to this meeting, and they're like, one of the media guys asked them, hey, like a panel of dudes, any advice to somebody that wanted to start up in this business? And they're like, all of them kind of scoffed, and like Dan from Tap Out, he's super positive all the time. Him and Script, but everybody is like, don't bother, stay home, stay home. How about you just write me a check and just call it good, and you can call it charity. Like they're just like, it's so hard to get a grip, to get foothold, to get distribution. To have enough people with your dream that all want to move it in the same direction, like crazy synchronicity it takes.
It does a lot, and I'll tell you something. It's kind of like the story that Cesar just told, man. Sometimes just stuff starts lining up, and when you're doing the right thing, and this team of guys are good people, man. Good people. They take care of their families. They take care of their friends. They do the righteous stuff in the community. Their names are all clean in the garment industry. You know what I mean? Like It's a group of people that are just doing the right thing. And when you're operating like that, you end up getting gifts like a Cesar,
right, that
shows up, or a John Alter, or what I'm saying? It's
that
like
thing where shine happens, shine comes towards it.
Yep. I mean, we just have the most gifted, great team of just awesome, talented, devoted, good people in this office, and it's like you give me 4 or 5 people like that, and we can move a mountain.
Have you? I mean, this is a young company. Have there been people that haven't fit that get spun out that are just that get pushed out then, or has there been that kind of thing?
It's kind of like it's funny because we have there's other things that me and you talk about, and it's kind of like. Sometimes you don't have to remove people out of your life.
Yeah.
They just find their way out themselves, right?
Well, that's the thing. Like I think like real functioning communities. Like at Jackson's, it was like that. Like if a dude came in and he's a dickhead, like people would talk to coach about it or whatever. Be like, and Greg's always smiling. He's like, "Oh, it'll be okay," and nothing gets said. But the feeling gets around, and like all the water kind of flows this way, and somebody comes in that's flowing a different way, that's maybe not for the positivity of the group. Those dudes, they can't last. They get bounced out on their own, like what you're saying. It seems like.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's one of those things where it's an environment, and it's a group of people, and we all have a certain type of mind frame, and we all work together, and there's got to be synergy. There's got to be community. There has to be, reliance upon each other, and we're a team of people. And sometimes you do get people that come in with different ideas, different views, and they're just not willing to go with the flow, and they're constantly fighting.
And it might not even be that
their common purpose.
They might have great ideas.
Yeah.
But they're not the same as this
It-
idea kind of thing or something, you know?
Right.
And I think it's important to also say that I think each person that's come aboard to this company has brought something special to this company. And I think that sometimes just over time,
Yeah.
you grow differently, or you start
Right,
moving
yeah.
direction in that person. I want to be clear on that this company hasn't fired anybody. We've never had to
Wow.
fire anybody or ask anybody to leave, right?
Right.
So it's, and the moves that were made were good for the people that left.
Yeah.
They moved on to big things, great
That's-
things.
that's-
And for us, it was good because it enabled us to bring in some other people that we wanted. And it's like, so I want to leave it on a note that it's been awesome, man. It's been good. And
Yeah.
it's been good for everybody, And this is,
That's righteous, dude. Like what you're saying right there, it reminds me of because I'll get scared in my own life about like what I think I'm gonna lose, or like I want to hang on to this thing, and whether it's in my life, it's like whether it's a job, whether it's a girlfriend, whether it's changing your car, whatever it is, and like when you say that when things are working for good, like when you're doing the right thing, when you're in full appreciation, it just dawned on me the other day. I go, you don't ever. If you walk off of something, there's evolution, man, and it's not ever like you walk out and it's like now the next job I had was worse, the one after that was even worse, or whatever, or I cut out this relationship with this person, and then the next person was even worse. They stole all my money, and then the next person was worse. They killed my dog. It's always better. As long as you're forming yourself and your consciousness, I think is towards how to refine your character as a man, as a human walking the planet, the next experience is only going to be better. So like what you're saying is like, with functional people, it's like when they move on, things got really great for them too. They found out where they fit in there. It's kind of like what you're talking about, C's, when you're going, I was headed for this, and then this popped up,
Yeah, for sure. It's all growth and it's all movement. It's all being progressive. And, sometimes there's just different ideas. People have different ideas and different abilities, and they see different things. And it's like it would only go against their own nature to not make that move.
Right.
To not go and do something different where their heart leads them and where their passion is taking them. And it's like, who am I to say what another man should be doing?
Sure.
It's like if we see the same vision and we have the same purpose, great. I love it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, great, we're on the same page. Let's do this. Let's grind. Let's go for it. Let's move forward. And if they're not on the same page, it's hard to really get on that level. And at some point, someone's got to make a decision.
Yeah.
Because if not, nature is not happy with you. Like,
Yeah.
hey, nature's telling you, like, yo, there's something else out there for you, man. And it's like we all have that inner voice, that intuition that tells us, like,
Right.
either this is right or this is wrong. And like going back to what happened here, when this opened up for me, something in my heart told me, like, go for it. It was like,
and you never thought you were gonna be in the garment business.
never
like,
thought I was gonna be in the garment
crazy.
business. I was chasing music,
Yeah.
and something in my heart was like, go for it, man. Just go for it. Like, you're gonna be okay. And I listened to that voice. I listened to my nature, and it's great. Like, I love it. I love what I do.
Do your friends trip out?
Yeah, I mean,
Like how'd you do that? Like, I don't know. Like I like a lot of my people back in Michigan and stuff, and people I meet all over, they're like, you got the craziest fucking life. How did that happen for you? And I'm like, I always just say, man, I got my short, quick answer is I just got lucky, But like, I think there's a lot more to it than that. But
yeah, I think when I say that I got lucky, that's like my short version of the story.
Yeah.
That's my, like, hey, I got
Yeah.
something to do and I gotta go and I don't
Yeah.
got really time to break everything down. But
yeah,
the reality and the truth is that I just been blessed, and there was a lot of situations in my life that put me into certain circumstances, and I came out the other side of it, and because of that, I'm able to see a lot more opportunity in everything that comes my way. And it's like, yo, I want to travel the world. I want to do
Right.
this. I want to, live
and
this
it can all
life.
be gone like that.
Yeah, and all these dreams that I've always had could have easily been shattered and taken away, and I wouldn't have been able to even step outside and take a piss or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
things change, and now I'm just like, I got to take it.
What was the
as it
biggest
comes.
pinnacle that flipped your consciousness? Like what was what your biggest catalyst to go, this just isn't working no more, you know, and I got to look towards a different direction.
It probably had to be the day my brother died.
Yeah.
Yeah. When my brother died, he got shot, and I was right there with him, and I took him to the hospital, and I carried him in, and laid him down on that hospital table, that cold metal table, and seeing my mom cry a few hours later when the doctor tells her that my brother just passed away, and that was probably that moment when I was like, this isn't working, this isn't working, and because before that it was just it was a lot of running around, crying.
And then you got shot after that, right?
Yeah, I had actually been shot before it too. Mm-hmm. So I got shot when I was like 15. I had got shot with an AK-47. I was running around my neighborhood and it was like 1 a.m. and some dudes ran up on us, and I got hit 6 times with the AK.
Christ.
And the dudes just
like, for those like you can't see, like, I don't know, you're like what, 5'7",
5'6",
155 pounds, 160 pounds, something like you would think it would cut him in half. Look like fucking 6. What the
dude,
fuck?
I was a big kid when I was young. When I was a fat boy, and I couldn't even run from those bullets. I was just like, as soon as they started shooting, I mean, I had no gas under these feet, and they started tagging me. So I had no escape route, and I hit the water. There was a creek.
Did it hurt? Like, what was the most resounding part? Like, hearing the shots, or feeling the impact, or what?
I tumbled down the side of the creek, and it's all rocky and bumpy, and that kind of hurt a little bit because by the time I started tumbling, both of my legs my leg was shot out, and both of my arms were shot out, and my back. So I was just like feeling like sharp pains everywhere, and then it felt like my leg was the size of an elephant's leg, and I was just laying there in the water, just cold and just freezing, and just like waiting for the gunshots to stop. And I was just sitting there waiting, playing dead. And I'm just like, man, I hope these dudes don't come down here right now.
Right.
And I was just playing dead, and I got lucky, man. They didn't come down. And
anybody else get hit then, or just you?
Yeah, one of my friends that was with me, he actually got hit 4 times, twice in the front and twice in the back. Because when we got hit, we were trying to be like real macho and just like, face the dudes that were shooting at us, and not even flinch. Right. But no, that didn't really go down like that. As soon as they started shooting, we turned around and started, booking it.
Yeah.
But we didn't get too far. So the kid was all right though. He's good, and he made it.
6 shots, 4 shots, everybody's okay.
Yeah, everybody's okay. And
tells you need something different than an AK, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Those shits are broke. Wild,
man.
So that was the first time.
Yeah, so that was the first time, and then after my brother got shot, a couple months later, I got shot with a .45. And
I guess the 45s don't work either.
Maybe it's all operator error.
Man, I don't think they're building them like they used to. And man, we were just getting.
And that's your arm that's tore back.
Yeah, well, the interesting part about it is I actually got hit in the same spot that the AK bullet exited. So the AK bullet.
You were already ready.
Yeah, I was ready. I was like, here, I got a scar for you. Like, this is a position. Just hit me right here.
Designated.
Yeah, designated. There was a little target on there. Like, this is your mark. And boom, I get hit in my where my scar is at on my left arm, and it shattered my whole bone. And I mean, I thought my arm fell off. Literally, I was like. I remember we were getting into it with some dudes, and then out of nowhere a car rolls up, and they start shooting at the whole crowd, and I was the one that got hit. I hit the floor, and I got up with one hand, and I'm holding my arm while I'm running, and I run to the back of a hotel, and I'm just like, man, I'm tripping, I'm being loud, I can't contain myself. I'm so emotional because I'm like, my brother just passed away, and now I'm getting shot. I'm like, I ain't ready to die, like I ain't ready to die yet. And it was funny because one of my boys snapped me out of it, kind of shook me up real quick, and I kind of just stared at him. I was like, and I was like, all right. And he grabbed the T-shirt and tied it around my arm, and then after that, I just kind of waited it out, went down to the hospital, and
Now, when that happens and you go to a hospital, do they got all kinds of questions in LA, or is it just so like they're just like, get another one?
The sheriff's department was hating me that night because they were just like they were asking me questions. I'm like, what? Who? Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Like,
right.
I have no idea. They're like, were they black? Were they Mexican? Were they white? I was like, I don't know. I don't know who or what or why. And I was just walking down the street and I got shot. And they hate you for that. Yeah. They really do. They gave me the worst look and they're like, all right, get this kid out of here. And I just got out of there and, I was just ripping and running for about another year, just kind of like seeing, the catastrophes right behind me, and it's like just that one day. Then I met this guy,
and then Lux changed your life.
Yeah,
he changed his life.
That's why they call him Lucky.
Hey, no,
because motherfuckers just get lucky to know him.
Dude, it was at the point where I was kind of like I had no idea what to do anymore. I had no direction. I was like just lost in my own little ways, and then I ran into Lucky one day. And I've heard about this dude because of Famous, and everybody's like, yeah, Lucky, like he's from the West Side, he's known. People were always like, yeah, he helps out the youth and the young people, and he was doing some stuff down at Pico Family Youth Center, and so I heard of him. I always heard of him. Al used to talk about you all the time. I remember Al used to always be like, Lucky, I'm gonna introduce you one day. I'm gonna introduce him, and I was always excited. Finally, I meet him one day, and I remember the first time we met, we didn't really like talk. It was just kind of like, oh, hey, what's up? And, he was talking to one of my boys, and I was like, when you were talking to Noel, yeah, and it was kind of like, nothing serious. Then I ran into him like probably like a week later, and I was just like, yo, you got a cigarette? And
did you know who he was right when you seen him?
Yeah. Right when I seen him, I was like, hey, you got a cigarette? He's like, yeah. So I went outside.
Neighborhood hero, international star.
Dude, we went outside, smoked a cigarette. That was the most important conversation I've had since in the past 4 years. In the past 4 years, that was one of the most important conversations I've ever had. And from that moment, me and this dude started dogging it. We were just like road dogs every day. We just like rolling everywhere to eat, swingers.
Man, you're both from the West Side, and then you'd be downtown all the time working when the shop was down there. And so you guys all the time, highway time and all that, everywhere. Yeah,
there was even before this started.
Yeah,
it was before Young and Reckless started. We were just kind of like, we're just kicking it, and that's kind of how this came along, because I remember when he was talking about this happening, and I was just pumped for him. I was like, yeah, that's dope, and this and that, like that's cool, man, and. I had no idea. I didn't watch that TV, so I was like, I really didn't know who was who. But I was like, all right, cool.
Right, and these guys all got famous out of skateboarding, right?
Well,
out of the show.
Oh well, originally Rob Dyrdek.
Go ahead.
Originally Rob Dyrdek from skateboarding, and then he had the show, and then Drama kind of was on the show with him, and they
what
both
was the show called?
Fantasy Factory.
Right.
Yep. Man, let me tell you, he might tell you one way about it, but I'm going to tell you the other.
This is the real deal.
This guy's it was a gift in my life. For some reason, at that point in time, I needed like he just walked into my life at the right time. Had to be focused, and he's just been an amazing friend. So we're all honored. I think when there's. I just think that some of the hard work that happens in a company like this, when you have people like Cesar and Drama and myself even, and some of the cats that are in here, you almost have the company as a whole pulling to make it happen for certain people in the company. Does that make sense? Man, I want to make this thing happen because I want to see some people do well. Yeah. Yes, I want to make it happen, and I'm going to make it happen. I want to.
And you want your paycheck to be bigger and all that kind of stuff, but there's a bigger cause.
Right. It's like Drum always says, he's like, if this thing doesn't work out, I got to go back to Ohio. That's where he came from. He came out here with a dream.
No kidding.
And it's kind of like, I don't want that dude to have to go back to Ohio, with his tail between his legs. We're going to make this happen.
Yeah.
And so, it's, I don't know if any of that makes any sense.
Dude,
but it's
I remember having that exact feeling. I was working in a nightclub bouncing, and a lot of people, no matter what job you got, people bitch. They bitch about that. And I never thought it was very manly. Like, to fucking whine on all that shit. I just look at it and I was like, those are never dudes I looked up to, you know what I mean? And it was kind of like the dudes that you'd see that are like, 50 years old, and they're like, yeah, well, my dad was a real son of a bitch. And they're still mad about what, you know what I mean? It's like anybody unsettled and you're an adult, like, please, motherfuckers, get your shit right, for God's sakes. You're embarrassing yourself. You got it, like, if you don't tighten it up by a certain point, it's like, well, how about you just resign from life because you're fucking not trying. And when I see dudes like that, and I was just like, I'm fighting from that. I don't want that no matter what. And something flipped in me, and I go, I'd like to make more than $10 an hour. Mm-hmm. And I go, and I'm looking at my boss, and she's writing checks, and she's trying to make her business work, And I thought, what I'd like to do is I'd like to make Donna Lee more money. I'd like her club to be more successful. And I started and the only thing that really changed was my consciousness. And I go, I want to make this place better. Mm-hmm. And when I started making this place better, man, I started making more money just a couple months later. I started, everything got better. And like what you're talking about, it totally resonates with me, Steve.
Dude, it's, I came up at, I was 21 years old when I got into this business.
And how's that? Like, how'd you?
And there was, let me just say that there was no mentors in this business.
You paved the
road.
A
bunch of guys, older men, that were either trying to take advantage of you, or they were chewing on lemons because they were just sour about the right. But they weren't trying to expose game, give up game, help you up. I wasn't running into anybody in this business, so I ain't that smart of a guy. I don't have it figured out. I just failed so many times and made so many mistakes in this business that after making enough mistakes, you start figuring out what not to do, right? Yep. But more importantly is, I came up in the game with a couple guys, and they were my age, and it's like, I didn't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that helps a young kid that wants to design or do graphics or wants to get in. I want to share it, man, because there was nobody to share it with me. Got burned and it's not. So I wanted to be the guy that was that would sit down with somebody young. I never want to forget what it's like to be young. And I have guys I grew up with that are my age, and now they're the old, sour, pirate. And they are no longer relevant in what's happening. And, I have to, in this game, you got to stay relevant. Yeah. And I surround myself with young people. I keep an open mind to new things because I have to remember, man, there was a point in time where I was young and the stuff I was into, people just weren't getting it. And that's how it always is with something new. They just don't get it. Years later, they get it. So I need to remember, man, sometimes I see this wild stuff with young people. And I'm like, instead of having that attitude, what the blank is that? No, I stop myself and keep an open mind and remember, when I was 20, I was listening to Pac and NWA, and people were like, "That's wrong. What's the matter with you? That's noise. That's I remember, and I think that I think that it's exactly what you're saying, Tait. I think that people grow up and lose that child. They lose that young person. They lose that that essence, And I think that's why people always tell me, you're just a big kid. You're just a big kid. I've heard them say that to Tait too. You're just a big kid, and it's because it's mature and time to grow up and all that, but you have to keep some of that, and you got to keep an open mind. And as soon as you lose sight of that stuff, you're out of the game. At least in this game, and
you're out of fun.
You're no fun. I mean, bigger than business, you're just dragged to be around. I don't want to be around anybody that's chewing on lemons. Professional lemon chewers. I don't want to be around them.
Professional lemon chewers. Dude, I feel like it's like there's two choices. I started studying older dudes a while ago, and because I'm like, you might live long enough to be one of those, and two different dudes. I'd see dudes that I thought were super cool. They were like in their 60s, 70s, and then I'd see dudes that are super crusty, like what you're talking about, a professional lemon chewer.
Yeah.
And I go, and I start talking to them, and some of those dudes, they don't want to fuck anymore. Like, you know what I mean? They're just like, you know what? It's not. I can get a boner, fuck Viagra, or whatever. I just got no interest when a juicy ass walks by. It looks nice, whatever, but I just like their desire is gone or whatever. And I think that whole thing. I started thinking about like testosterone, and I started thinking about what drives dudes. And a lot of it, let's face it, folks, we're not getting out of bed if we're not thinking about some pussy. Like there's a lot of that makes a Fisker automobile. Or that makes Larry Flint Productions or DreamWorks or whatever it is, or you going to your job at UPS or anything, like because you want to have a nice car to take a lady out to dinner and it feels good to rub boobies or whatever the deal is. And when dudes get that old and that's not a drive anymore, and so the competition like between whoever it is and whoever it is for this girl or for whatever the deal is that there isn't that anymore, and they got two choices to compete with younger dudes. Like, because in the fight game, it's like you can either crush younger dudes or they're gonna get you. You know what I mean? And there'll be a changing the guard, and it's how you deal with that, right? But the deal is that you can either be helpful or you can try to diminish them and hamstring them and cut them down at every turn. And when I'm looking at those two dudes, and one happy and one shitty, when they're older,
you know who it is.
You know what I mean? And it's like this guy that's smiling, he's helping everybody.
Yep.
And he's like, dude, how can I make... And he's interested in your life. He's engaged. He's looking you in the eye. And he's wondering, truly, how can he make your life a little better? And the other dude is like looking to diminish you. And you're like, why has he got it in for... And it's just ego problems, dude. And like what you're talking about, that's the zest of life, man. I totally, I'm with that, dude. It totally makes sense.
I think I'm gonna, I'm just gonna say one thing about that, and I think that, if you're not, you know how they always say, oh, so and so reinvented themselves. They reinvented themselves. To me, when I hear reinvented, I just hear took an opportunity to grow, to change. That's what I hear, and I want to continuously reinvent myself. That means I've discovered something new. I've given it a chance. I'm open, and I want to be open instead of closed to life in general.
Well, that kind of goes back to like when I met Lux. I was 24. I was young, and it's just like I had no clue about this business or a few other things, and he was like just putting me up on game. It's like, yeah, this works like this, and he grew up with these people, and this is like that, and these people run with these people, and I used, and then he would introduce me to everybody. Yeah, we'll go meet Muggs, we'll go meet Esteban, we'll go hang out with Danny Boy, and like, I really didn't know anything about all this, and he was just introducing me to all this, and it opened up my world. It opened up my vision and my perception and my paradigm. It's like everything started just not even rebuilding, just adding more structures to what was already there. It's like what was already there is now a basement. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even live in that area no more. Like that is a basement that I rarely go into because now I got a new floor. I got and I got a few other things that I'm working on. But it was that attitude that he talks about. Like it was that dude that's helpful and trying to help somebody and putting them up on game, and now I could do the same thing for other people, and now my life has grown, and because of that I'm able to be of purpose to other people as well, and it's like I understand when we're all going for the greater purpose, it's like back to being in here and being a team member of a group, it's like I need to help that other person. I need to help that new dude that walks into the office like first day on the job, because we're all after the same thing.
Yeah, I think that also just dawns on me sitting here looking at you two. That it's like the thing that's so powerful about you both is is that you both are neighborhood heroes. You know what I mean? And lucky that like deep respect wherever you go.
Yeah.
From every fucking walk of life.
Right.
If you're gonna find a corner kid, or if you're gonna find a dude that's running a multi-million-dollar company, fucking,
right.
He got respect top to bottom from all that, and you too, and coming into this and like that being authentic and having that deep sense of loyalty, like to yourself and to the game, to the big game, to life, and to like, here's my values, and I ain't gonna cross over them for nobody.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like I'm fucking not a rat. I'm gonna work hard, and I'm gonna help people shine. And it's like you got certain structures like that built into your life, like from when you are on the corner. Yeah. That just pays, man. You know.
I'll tell you, man, it's been a real road, and it has been a road, and you know, I've struggled. I've had a lot of good opportunities, man. I've had a lot of great things, that I have built, but I've had a lot of things that I've taken for granted. You know, I've battled with addiction most of my adult life, and spent time in prison, and it's been a battle back and forth, man. And you know what I have to say is that I really believe that I'm coming upon the best years of my life right now.
How great is that?
And here's the other thing is I want to say this, and I want to say that. I say that I've gone through so much time, but I don't want to say this in the wrong way. I embrace it. I embrace it, man. You know, yes, I made mistakes. Yes, I chose wrong sometimes. But I embrace it, man. The sooner that I embrace it, for a long time I didn't. And the sooner I embrace that, man, and realize it's my life, man. It was my life. It was given to me, and it is my life. And, you know, I had choices, and I made choices. And it's like when I encompass all of it and I wrap my arms around all of it as me,
right,
it makes sense. It's only when I'm fighting it and trying to throw the blame and not take responsibility for my life and my actions does it become complicated. And lately it's been really a lesson in acceptance, and that's taught me some gratitude lately, and to really, you know, I'm so moving through most of my career and my life as moving towards the next thing that I'm missing what's actually going on at the present moment, because I'm so focused on the next, and here we go, and we got to, and so I believe that my work's gotten better and clear, and my career is going to end up, I think it's going to end up showing that, just taking time to appreciate it, more than my career, my life will reflect that. But, you know, man, this is a real fast-paced planet we live in. Information is being really, really, you know, spread around very, very quickly. And, you know, it's a big fear game on, you're going to get sick, they're going to invade, we're going to get, and everybody's running around operating off of fear. Right. And bottom line is, man, is like, an asteroid might hit this planet right, well, it just did, right? There you go.
You know, nobody in America gives a fuck, though.
Right. It hit.
You know, they're like, oh, I got the Russians, cool. We still got
Syria, right?
on
Something
it.
like that.
You know?
Yeah, man.
It's crazy.
And so this whole thing may just come to a wrap, you know, and I don't want to spend my last few moments or minutes, or, you know, as simple as I could walk downstairs and crash my car on the way home, right? This building could fall down.
Yeah.
And spend my last moments worrying about some stuff that I don't really have the power to change. I just need to show up and experience it. And it's like, you know, take what you want, you know. If it applies, cool. If it doesn't, let it fly. But for me...
What is it like you got... I was saying while you went to take a leak that it's like... the things you guys got in common are like knowing who you are and not losing that, and that wherever you go, like whether it's in your old neighborhood or whether it's with CEOs of companies, you fucking got legendary respect. You know what I mean? And as a solid individual, full of integrity, and that's just, you know, that's held his mud, taken his lumps, paid prices, and kept walking on, and never drug anybody down. And like, where's that come from for you? because that's what that's what you're talking about, and you talk about like what I like in this podcast is like there's a bunch of younger dudes that listen to that don't know fuck all about how to be a dude. Like they're like maybe I shouldn't fucking hug somebody. I don't know, is that weird or like maybe I am by myself and fucking dude and we all fucking ran in and stole candy from 7-Eleven and we got caught. I'm gonna give up Tommy and Joey. Or
right.
like, you know what I mean? All this shit about like and just I go, hey, consider, youngster, that this is gonna mark who you are for your whole life.
I think that's interesting, man. I'm going to answer that question very carefully. What I'm going to say is that I'm becoming more and more as time goes by the real genuine me, okay? And the real genuine me, the child in me, is a loving, caring. I want to show affection. I want to kiss my kids. I want to be a man that has integrity, that shows up for his family, that's the head son of the family, that works, that his daughter's his princess, his son's his prince, like, okay? But, you know, getting involved in street gangs, and juvenile halls, and prisons, and crime, and I got brought up by older dudes that explained the game to me, you know? So, yes, I had an inner idea of who I was or some things that I was unwilling, you know, that I kept.
Sure.
But I understood the game, and I just, you know, certain things early on just didn't ring right to me, and that was that, you know. Nobody put a gun in my head to get involved in the crimes that I did. So if I get busted, then I'm going to try and save my skin by giving up somebody else. None of that makes any sense for me. Okay?
It wasn't even a conversation.
Right. Like I don't. Hey, man. You know, if I was willing to take the chance, then I got to be willing to pay the price. And if I got a problem with that, or somebody listening has got a problem with that, then get out of the game, man. Because that's why the game's so fucked up. And two, I really believe that there comes a point in time where you have to choose whether you're going to have one foot in that. And one foot in, or you know, and I know clearly today, you know, I have friends and I don't cut people loose, but I am not in that life.
Right.
I don't even pick up a piece of gum and put it in my pocket. I'm not trying to take anybody's stuff. That's not me. But I still haven't, you know, I still got a lot of love for those. I understand, you know, the mindset and everything. But when I was in it, It's basically your basic rules, man, that run you inside, man. Like I'm not gonna screw my boy's old lady. I'm not gonna rat on my friends. I'm not gonna take anybody else down. I'm not. If I get hit with the charges, I got to take the charges, man. Nobody made me do anything, and that's gone, and it's falling apart all over the place, and. I don't know, man, and I'm just glad that, you know, I know something, man, and on the flip side of that, man, I also want to say, you know, man, I don't know what's in another man's heart. I don't know how another man comes to a place where he's able to do that. So I don't want to down a man like that either. Like, thank God you weren't around me, you know, that I got to say that much, but I used to really be big on that rat piece of shit type stuff about dudes like that, and now it's more like, you know, I'm just glad that I wasn't presented with, you know, I was presented with plenty of opportunities.
Right.
Plenty of opportunities.
But not the ability in your heart to do it.
Right. To go ahead and just lay down and turn and different, like, and it wasn't in me. I'm glad that I was able to make that decision, and that wherever I go, there ain't any pieces of paper floating around that I've testified. You're never going to find it, you know? But that was a piece of it, but I used to walk around, that's a badge of honor. Yeah. Today, my badge of honor is about showing up, man, and giving the best I can at my work, you know? You know, standing by and maybe, you know, returning the favors to Cesar that he's done for me or to you. And, you know, listen, man, it's funny, you know, I've got you two in the room, and it's like, I've learned more about being a man from this young guy, Cesar, and from you, you know, you guys. So it's really, you know, the people that you choose to put in your life and have close to you. Look, you sleep with dogs, you're gonna get fleas.
Yeah.
I believe that, man. And so you surround yourself with the people that you want, you know, that you want to be like, and that have what you don't have, and eventually catch that. It's like, you know, man.
It kind of goes back to like what we were saying earlier when we were talking about teammates. You know, I think it's the same thing as friend mates. It's like, as weird as it sounds, it's true. It's like if you have friends that don't have, you know, a common purpose, you're constantly going to be having different ideas. Yeah. One guy wants to go do one thing, you want to go do another thing, and it's like your goals just aren't matching up, and you're doomed for disaster. The reason that it worked so well for us in the streets was because we all had one purpose.
Yep. And
to
all in.
To cause hell. You know,
all in. And
we were all in, and if you weren't all in, like Lucky said, then get the hell out of the game.
That's what I thought too, dude. After like the last big charges I faced, and I got real clear. It's gonna get this way or it's gonna get that way. You know what I mean? And when I was off paper and all that, and I just thought, man, I got to be all in over here. Like, and when stuff came up and stuff got hard, and I was like, man, I could do a little dirt, and I could have a little lick over here, and I could make a little extra that, and I thought about it, and I thought about like, here's what the price to pay would be, because I'd always think that too. I go, well, you know, if it all goes south, what's that look like?
Yeah.
And how all in do you need to be? And I'm like, I'm not willing to be that all in. And it just really struck me, and I thank God that came into my heart, and it goes, you're just not that dude anymore. Mm-hmm. And if you can't be, you got zero success in that. You can't be in that world, you know. And then one of my best friends, man, he was in a boat, and he just you know, it's like part of it is it's not just the dope or the booze or it's the lifestyle, and it's the fucking respect, and it's like all that twisted up shit about it, and the adrenaline and the excitement and the who are we and all that shit. And he just started back in it, and he's running into rack after rack after rack, and I go, dude, you can't have 1 foot in the spirit and 1 foot in the mud. You're gonna get drugged one way or the other, and the gravity only works one way. And like when we start thinking about a spiritual consciousness or putting our intention in, I don't think like if you're running the streets and shit, it's any different. You still got that consciousness of right now, right here, but it's got to be all there.
Yeah,
and if it's the other way, it's got to be all there too, you know.
And you definitely believe in something when you're out there, because you believe you're taken care of. You know, when you jump out of a car with a full rack of equipment, you know, you're putting your life on the line. Mm-hmm. It's like there's something inside of you that's thinking you're gonna make it out alive, and that's not always true, and that doesn't always happen.
Well, it's almost like your first instinct when the guy's lighting you up.
Yeah,
like, we're just gonna walk him down.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
We're gonna walk down AK.
Like I'm really thinking for some reason I could just stand up to that, and that, you know,
that firepower.
That firepower, and that shit did not fucking work out the way I thought it did.
Yeah. Because they're bitches from that side of town, so fuck his gun.
Damn.
You know what I mean?
Damn it. I'll tell you something, man. I'll tell you this much, Tait. You know, they magnify all these things that are, you know, how you said, like, just being solid dudes, like, you know, from TV shows to movies to everything. Yeah. Listen, man. If you're with me and you end up hitting a prison yard for 4 or 5 years and you remove your money, take your money from you, and you don't have a gun, you're going to have to be consistent. Everybody's going to see what you're about.
Talk about a transparent system, huh?
We're going to find out, because I'm going to see you every single day. And either you're going to be consistent or you're going to run into a wreck. All your true colors of exactly who you are going to start to come out. And most people aren't built that way. And I'm not really built I'm built to be free. Don't get me wrong. But it was kind of like right there, it started like, you just find out, because there ain't nowhere to run. There ain't nowhere to hide. Yeah. You can't throw smoke and mirrors with your money. You get in a problem, you can't shoot your way out of it. So all you got is your word and what you can do. That's it. And I think that with all the negative stuff, yes. But by going through that process, you find out who the character of this person is.
Are you glad that those were your experiences? Like, do you feel regret in any of that? Like any of the time you did, or you know what I mean?
I can't say, I have some remorse over some of the things that I participated in doing in my life. Yes, but I really, either the world is a wild west and nothing means nothing, and here we are, and I'm just gonna bug and gonna get stepped on, and that's it, or everything means everything. And I choose to believe in that everything means is everything, and all these different, all these situations, man. I do believe that it all needed to happen, and I believe that these experiences will be my biggest assets to me. A lot of the worst things that happen in my life have been and are the biggest assets that I have to offer to another man or woman that may be faced with the same thing. And I've gotten to see the shoe program.
What's the
in Pelican Bay?
Say for what everybody doesn't know, the shoe program's an acronym.
Yeah, for security housing unit, and that's
where you get 1 hour of daylight.
If you're not on lockdown or if somebody doesn't screw up the yard, but you can spend 4 or 5 months without ever getting out to air.
So it's like, am I wrong in saying it's the most penalizing form of imprisonment that state prisons have?
Yeah, that's what America has to offer.
That's what it has. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. There's the hole, and then for the people that can't function in the hole, they have another hole for you, and that's a shoe program. And, I spent, I did 16 months in a shoe program, wearing socks and boxers for 16 months in a box, a concrete box. I've experienced that, and I've experienced going to American Music Awards. It's like, having dinner at George Clooney's house. It's like, I've gotten to be in both of those places, and that, it's things like that I say I've had a very, very, very colorful life, and I've been very, very fortunate. It's like I look at some of that, and it's like, oh man, it's been a crazy ride, and I think there's going to be some more craziness, but in a good way. But back to what I was saying, and that is like, that's no place, man. Like, I don't think we're meant to be there, and I don't think that's what it takes. And a lot of young people going to prison, and
that's going to be a big industry. I mean, fuck, that when it went privatized in the mid '90s or whatever, dude. Now if it's a business, if it's a corporation, I mean, you as a businessman, it's like, what do you need? We need longer sentences and more crimes that'll put people there. And then they've got these deals. People are talking about they got deals with the states now. That, like, if Wackenhut comes in and builds a prison or whatever, that the state has to guarantee occupancy being at 90% or something. So the state is complicit in making criminals and prisoners out of their constituents. Like, what the fuck?
Yep.
I mean, I feel like some of these dudes that are going to jail, they were already made criminals out here in the streets, and it's like... The crazy part about it is that they weren't trained to be, honest, good, loyal people. They were trained to be criminals in their environments that they grew up in. And then, they send them over here to these, concrete cell blocks and just lock them away like we're animals or something, and there's no opportunity. Where's the opportunity? Oh. How are you gonna learn something inside of a cell block?
No rehabilitation.
Yeah, I never learned anything sitting inside of a room by myself. That's not where I learned.
And are you when you're saying like they're trained to be that way or whatever? It's like, are you speaking to like when you look at, I don't know what it is, like if you're black between 16 and 40 or something, then 1 out of 3 of you are locked up, or it's some fucking crazy percentage. And people are like, oh, that's a racial thing or this or that, but like. It's a financial thing. It's like people get put in these positions. Like if you're not looking at that as a bigger problem, like you're crazy.
There's so many variables to why someone's life would turn out like that. There's a ton of variables because you could take your neighbor in the same neighborhood that just left to USC, that just graduated med school. The neighbor, the guy next door. Or
but if you're going to take an average out of certain neighborhoods,
so what I'm
you're going to have a lesser percentage going to USC.
Right. So what I'm saying is there is a ton of variables. There's a ton of variables, and we kind of just don't look at all of them. What was it? Did the guy have a mentor in his life? Did the person have someone to really teach him and guide him and really say, I know you might not be great at academics, but I know there's other areas in your life that we can
grow.
We can grow in.
Dude, that's the same thing. I start looking at these dudes and I go, one of the things that this podcast is important to me is the fact that, like, for a long time you just don't know any different.
Yeah.
And you go, I didn't have, like, you tell yourself the lie that you got no choice. And there's people that are in those neighborhoods that are telling those guys, well, this is how it is. Suck it up, Junior. And like, you guys are perfect examples of that. It flies in the face that be uncommon, man. Be uncommon. Because that's where it's at. And it's possible. And it's not only possible, it's the most powerful, moving, and useful thing that a man can do.
I think that right there, being uncommon, being unconventional, that free spirit, the free will, that's probably one of the biggest ideas in my life today. Is to be uncommon, to be different, to stand out, because my life has shown me that I didn't take the straight and narrow path.
Right.
And yet I'm still sitting here with everybody else that did. And it's like, I'm a very uncommon creature.
Right.
Sitting in this room full of people that a lot of them, they're great people and I respect them and I love everybody here, and I've never been with a group of such intelligent people, but somehow, some way, without the same academics, without the same credentials,
you're at the party too.
I'm at the party too. and not only am I at the party, but I'm part of the party.
Yeah.
And
you're throwing it.
And I'm throwing it, and I get to join, and I get to join in, and going back to, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here. I'm definitely blessed. I didn't just, I wasn't just walking by the party and there's, I looked like a fucking cool guy. So they said, hey, cool guy, why don't you come in and fucking be cool with us? It wasn't like that. I earned my spot.
That's like what you're talking about, though. I think is like, we talk a lot about our fortune and luckiness and all that kind of stuff. And people that have told, like I lose a fight or whatever it is, and they go, bad luck, dude, bad luck, and but then I look in the big picture in retrospect at what comes out of that and go, man, sometimes my bad luck turned out to be my greatest fortune, just like what you're talking about, and like that whole thing about being lucky and all that shit is like you guys are hard workers, you know what I mean, like me, like you know how to fucking put your fucking shoulder into it and keep driving and pushing regardless of the weather. And that's the thing, is that, like, what looks like simple luck to everybody, like, I just don't want anybody to get it twisted, man, is that it's hard work. Like, opportunity comes to every man. To every man, opportunity comes. And a lot of people are sitting on a couch going, I'm not going to do that today. And then there's dudes that are out there that are doing push-ups, that are waiting for that opportunity, and they're ready when it comes. Exactly. And when you're ready when it comes, man, that looks like luck. And I'm not saying that it's not really good fortune, and I'm not super appreciative of it, but it's like, ready that steel, because it's coming.
I will say that nothing, man, and luck ain't going to find you in locked up or, any of that.
Yeah.
If you want to be a tough guy, which I'm not, they got a place for you tough guys.
Yeah.
They got something built that'll hold you down. But back to what you were saying though, Tait, and that's like, it's like you're standing around with a bunch of guys, and somebody pulls up in a Lamborghini, right? They got the $10 million mansion in the hills, and everybody's like, dude, man, see, I want that. And they just see the results.
Right.
They don't know how much it costs every time that guy takes that car into be serviced. You know how much money it costs? You know how much money it costs to upkeep a $10 million mansion? Like, oh, I want to get pat like that.
Right.
And I listen to this stuff, and it's like, you don't know what's behind the scenes.
Tires
You don't
on
know
that guy's car.
Right. Yeah, you don't want that bill, right? Or the work or time you had to put in. And I'm a true believer in, put in the work. Put in the work. And I'm also a true believer in that, I talk to people in this company. I'm always talking to everybody that's where I'm at. I communicate with the people that are around me. And if you don't see the vision, if you don't see this thing, man, what it can be, then you really need to go and find something else to do. Because if you don't see it, then you don't believe it. Because you certainly have to believe it in order to see it.
And you're not sharp enough. You're just not noticing what's around you. And
Well,
if
right.
you can't recognize the greatness, man, that's cool, but another job is for you. This ain't it.
Exactly. And I think, man, that's like, the successful company as I've been with, when it was only one person or two people in the company, I saw it. Like some reason it showed its face to me, what it could be. And this company has. So I just show up and work towards, that. And there's other people in the company that believe the same thing. And I'm telling you, man, when you get 3 or 4 people to rally around something that they believe in, mountains will move. And they've drummed up, and more people come around, and they're believers. So it's really like, man, like I think it's don't. That's so cheesy to say. Don't give up on your dreams. Like I know that sounds, but it's like, man, if I didn't have my dreams, man, then I'm dead. If I don't, then what am I working towards? Like, everybody has something they see, some ideas, and it's like, it's possible. I know it's possible because I've seen it, I've experienced it. It doesn't matter what if I'm gonna do it and I see it, I'm gonna do it. Like who's gonna stop me? I already have seen it, I've already experienced it.
Dreams coming true are just ideas that are drenched in sweat.
It's it, man. There ain't anything on
that.
this planet. I'm telling you, man, if I wanted to go play pro football right now, if I really wanted to do that, I'd be going and showing up on a walk-on to go play football. But it's what do you want to do, man? Yeah. And go after it. Don't lose sight, like you're saying. And there's, if I go to Mexico, if I wanted to go to Ensenada right now, there's about 30 different routes I could take to get there. And that's where I think people get lost.
Yeah.
Because I believe, and I'm married to an idea that it's going to go down this way.
Yep.
And when it doesn't start going down this way, I give up on it.
Yep.
When in reality, it never goes down the way you expect. Just keep showing up and let it happen.
Dude, like I'm just thinking about community with this and what you're talking about when you're talking about the microcosm of the business and the macrocosm of a bigger idea of like these kids that are out here and all that and like and it's like it's a belief system. It's like it ain't a sweatshirt in that way. It's like I'm trying to invigorate and make people free. You know what I mean? In this whole thing and showing them that and how to do that and like that whole thing is kind of like what's the way to humanity? You know what I mean? To a deeper humanity and understanding of each other where everybody can shine, where there's a prosperity for everybody available.
Yeah.
And man, I don't know. And that's where it's at. It's like, where's my big picture? I want a paycheck at the end of the week, or I want this. Like, where's my big picture? Where can I really add comfort to this thing? And I know Cesar's got to go, and we'll talk more again. But I really want to thank you guys. I mean, there's, I'm so fortunate to know you, and just like everything in my life and the people, whatever it's been, and people are like, how's this, how's that? And I'm like, I've just met some of the most beautiful people in my life, and for whatever reason, my dumb ass was open to listening to them, and my heart was open enough to having them come in, and I'm real grateful that you guys are my friends and that you're here, and so you can find where can we find you at, C's? We can find you on Instagram, we can find you on Twitter.
My favorite place is Instagram.
Is that right?
I love Instagram. I'm on it all the time. It's at Watch Me Hustle. So,
Watch Me Hustle.
Yeah, hustle spelled with 2 S's, no T.
Yeah, no Z's, nothing like that either.
Just keeping it real street. Hustle,
Hussle.
Yeah, Watch Me Hussle.
Same and Twitter.
And Twitter, I mean, I got one. I don't really use it. I rarely check it.
All right.
But if you catch me on Instagram, hit me up.
You catch everything flavorful on the West Coast on Watch Me Hustle at the Instagram.
And there you go. There you go.
All right.
But once again, Tait, I love you, man. And,
love you too, man.
It was a blessing being here on this.
All love, Tait. You're the man.
What about you, Lux? Where can we find you? Get lucky?
You can't find me at all.
You can't find me.
No, you gotta just keep an eye on. Listen, you need all of us.
The100s.com,
Yeah.
youngandreckless.com.
Yeah. Lucky at the100s.com is an email to reach me, and then. We're gonna keep the other one anonymous.
We'll just keep it all
let's,
like that.
Let's keep supporting Young and Reckless, man, and let's keep on supporting the 100s, and man, and I'm gonna keep on supporting you and
Solid.
everything you got going on, and
all my 10th Planet heads out there, and all you Death Squad maniacs and bulletproof beauties and badasses of all varieties, man. Thank you so much, and you just keep shining that light.
Stay bulletproof.
Yeah.
Stay
dog.
Fucking bulletproof.
There, you know what? That's coming from Little C's right there, and that's a man that knows about it.
Oh yeah.
That's a man that. What do we got? Six hits overall. 5 hits overall.
Yep.
Seven
hits. The man
7
survived.
hits. I stay bulletproof.
And he turns into a beautiful flower, I tell you.
Yeah, he's bulletproof for real, bro.
Now we just keeping it bulletproof with some coconut oil and grass-fed butter. That's how we do
Solid.
it today, yeah?
Listen to that. You preaching, y'all.
Let's do this.
Thank y'all so much.
All right, man.
And one shout out to my family, my boys at Teen Hearts. Be on the lookout for Teen Hearts. That's the big move, all right? Teen Hearts. Kelly Orr at Teen Hearts.
And he's at Teen Hearts on Instagram, isn't he?
Yeah.
At Teen Hearts. And then I want to shout out my boy Cooper Gibson, Chase Gibson. Those dudes, the twins, they're about to tear it up in the fight world. Those dudes are on top of it.
No, I just met your boy at the Gracie Open or at one of those nationals maybe a couple weeks back.
Yeah, he was out there, and then he's actually doing a jiu-jitsu tournament this Sunday in San Diego.
Solid.
So my boy's, he's killing it.
Ooh. One thing before we go, what do you guys think about this weekend? We got Ronda Rousey. It's the first women's UFC fight going down. What's cracking?
I'm going to comment on that real big last ups to Jamie Yeager. That's my boy. We love you,
Yeah,
Jamie. Young
dude.
and Reckless. You're probably the Young and Reckless family for life.
He just scrapped in Bellator too, right?
He just scrapped in Bellator, and he just, I just want to say Jamie Yeager, man, is a very, very special guy, man. I love that dude, man. He's a good man.
I never met him, but I love that dude's smile. Every time I see a picture,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's
Heart
like,
goes out to
I'm
you,
like,
man. You're the man out there, Jamie Yeager. We love you, man, at Young and Reckless. But what I will say is, we were just talking about that fight, boy. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try and catch it, but God, those women, I think they're so beautiful. I don't want to see anybody get hurt.
no kidding, right?
I was at the Muay Thai fights the other day, and we were City of Industry last week, and there was a couple chicks fighting, and I mean, it's the most beautiful thing on earth. It's most
amazing,
beautiful
dude.
thing on earth watching this chick.
I feel like the way Lux does, like I get, like I don't want to see a pretty girl get smashed in the face, but the level of skill. I just had Emily Kagan and Jules Kedzie on, and 2 great women fighters out of Jackson's, and we were talking about this, and whatever it is that somebody's an artist and they want to express that. That's what I want to support. I don't care how I feel about whatever it is, I want to support that beauty, and the fucking athleticism it's unparalleled. I mean, you can't differentiate women's mixed martial arts and men's mixed. It's just mixed martial arts, and these athletes, they're incredible, and to see the exceptionalism that they both have, I'm excited.
Yeah, I love it. I can't wait to watch on Saturday. It's on. It's on and cracking.
Wicked.
It's on and cracking for real.
Thank y'all, all you bitches out there. Have a fucking beautiful evening, daytime, whatever it is, and please go hug somebody. What?
That's right, West.